Hey everybody, and welcome to Flipping Pages. Now, in this episode, we're gonna have a look at this rulebook right here. This is Frostgrave's Ghost Archipelago, fantasy war games in the Lost Isles. This is pretty much the Frostgrave adjacent expansion. I'm gonna call it expansion. Also written by Joseph McCullough, and what it is basically Frostgrave, but done differently, right? So there are going to be a lot of things here which are similar to Frostgrave, the game, and things which are quite different. Now, first off, you can already tell the temperature of the book is a bit different. So Frostgrave, everything's more icy and cold. For this book right here, it's a bit more warm and a bit more tropical, right? So it sets adventures in a totally new realm, and this is also kind of great because it gives you an opportunity if you're hobbying or you're playing to adventure to a totally new place altogether. This is a very beautiful book. It's also hardcover and it's written by Osprey, published by Osprey. It's very beautiful. I had a flip through earlier and I was very pleased. It looks very nice. Even the color of the paper gives it a very nice, like a tomb vibe. Anyways, you got table of contents here and the introduction. I think the best way for me to explain to you what the game is or what the setting is just reading this. Welcome to Frostgrave Ghost Archipelago, a narrative war game set in a vast mysterious chain of islands that appears in the Southern Ocean every few centuries, only to disappear again in a few years later, filled with steaming jungles, lost cities, deadly monsters, fabulous treasures. It has brought great wealth to many explorers and a horrible death to many more. Now, in this game, each player takes on the role of a Heritor, a warrior gifted with superhuman abilities who assemble a crew of hardened fighters to adventure in the Lost Isle, searching for wealth and the fabled Crystal Pool. Now, why Crystal Pool? Because basically the Crystal Pool is, if drinking from it, it just powers yourself up in this game. Now, the cool thing about this setting is the fact that whenever you use your abilities, it has a chance to hurt you, and I think that really nice. Extra rule really adds this element of risque whenever you're adventuring. It's kind of nice. Here's one of the first few art bits that you can see in the book. Very nice looking art. All of the art here is really good. Really nice. Anyways, you have your basic what you need to play, and then you have the miniatures. Now the thing is, miniatures for this game you can get anywhere. Frostgrave and Stargrave also are made, because for Frostgrave and Stargrave are made by North Star as well. So they also make figures for this book right here. And if you're looking for figures that are directly inspired, you can get this, or you can actually kit bash with the sets they have. I think they have 3 sets out for you to kit bash. And as you can see, the whole look is very different. And also, I like the fact that they have miniatures here, right, to show you give you an idea of what it looks like when you're playing the game. So this game works on a D20, and then it's pretty much breaking down what you need, the table and the crew and stuff like that. Now, chapter 2 is basically the Heritors, Wardens, and Crewmen. Now, here's where the game's slightly different. Now, in Frostgrave, you have the Wizards and Apprentice. Here you have Heritors and Wardens. So that's it's not just, the name is not just different in a sense, but the function is also a bit different. So the Heritors are the ones who the ancestors drank from the Crystal Pool, and now they want to go back to it, because every time, after every generation, right, they seem to have lost the ability to cast spells. So drinking from the Crystal Pool actually gives them, regenerates the energy and the power. So you now have an underlying quest for you to adventure on. Now, with the Heritor, you get to actually choose your abilities. This one is it's a bit different. Also, another thing that's a bit different if you compare it to Frostgrave, you get to choose. So if you're looking at Frostgrave, you have these different schools of magic. In this game, you choose your Heritor's ability straight off, right? So but we're going to go into it a bit later. Here we have the stat line, and then the Wardens. The Wardens is where you choose your branch, your school of magic or stuff like that, right? So you got your beast wardens, and then just before that, check this out. Nice splash page art right here. Very beautiful, very pretty. And then you have the Earth Warden, Storm Warden, Vine Warden, Wave Warden, and all of these wardens are basically your different schools, right? For your wardens to have and follow. All right, and then you choose your warden spells. Right, and then you got your crewmen. Your crewmen are pretty standard crewmen. When you first start off, they are free, right? When you first start off the game, you get a whole bunch of basic crewmen, and as you like later purchase the specialists from here, you'll replace the crew members, very quickly. Another nice piece of art. I think the art in the book definitely helps evoke the kind of adventuring that you're going to be doing when you're playing this game right here. All right, so you got general arms and armor list, and then playing the game, right? Setting up the table, you got turns, activation and stuff like that. And you got a nice piece of art right there. If you're just a collector of rulebooks, it's not a bad rulebook to have in your collection, strictly because it's just done very nicely. I totally appreciate that. I think they've stepped up when it comes to like art books over the last decade or so. And now when you're like collecting art books, rule books, it's pretty much like collecting art books and stuff like that. Anyways, here you have all the rules that I'm not going to go through because this is basically a book flip through and not a game review. And then you have more art. You can see pictures of art right there, and okay, so you got shooting, poison, and then you have the spell casting part of the book. And so wardens get to cast spells while heritors have abilities, right? Since here all your how to cast spells, more art, collecting treasures. Now there's this part of the book where you have boats, and these boats, I think they're pretty much like I mean, you can actually like use the boats to travel, from one table to another table. So they've actually accounted for that in the rules, which are quite nice. Another nice bit of art right there. I mean, come on, the art is really nice. And then yeah, so you got boat fighting, moving boats and stuff like that. And then you got your campaign. Now games like this, Frostgrave, Stargrave, and Ghost Archipelago, it does it works better when you have the campaign happening, right? Archipelago, I'm saying it wrong. And then you have the crewmen, right? And then having a crew and your warden stay is paramount to leveling up or getting more out of your crew. And then you have all of this campaign bits like injuries and stuff like that, which is pretty common for most campaign games. And then how you and experiences and leveling up and stuff like that. Now, if you're pretty much a D&D player, or Dungeons and Dragons player, or a role-playing game player, and you've got some miniatures in your collection, consider getting a game like this, because this will be a little bit closer to Dungeons and Dragons than Frostgrave would be, because Frostgrave, I think the setting is a bit more cold, like I said, and this one is a bit more warm. And most fantasy games from Dungeons and Dragons has that warm feeling. Anyway, so you got all the scenarios, and then you got your treasure, collecting treasure and stuff like that. And you got your armor, different kinds of armor, more miniatures, more splash art. The artwork is fantastic, very pretty, very nice. There, have a look at that. Very nice. And then you got spending your treasure. And then you get to chapter 5. Chapter 5 is your heritor abilities. Now here's where it's not, the heritor is not really a wizard. And because of that, you got this chance to like choose your abilities, right? So you can choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 20, about almost 30 abilities for you to choose from, for your heritor to have more art, more pretty art. and then you got your warden spells, and depending on the branch that you are using, right? You have all these spells available to you, right? So you got your beast warden. Oh, look at that. That's really nice. You have your beast warden spells, and then you have, like I said, like summoning animals and stuff like that. And then you have your wave wardens. I think I missed it. Yeah, vine wardens right there, earth wardens right there. So all the different disciplines, right, have different spells. So I think if you're playing the game, going through the book, and like just reading the spells and deciding which ones works for you, is kind of cool. And seeing how it works well with the Heritor's abilities is a great idea. And then you've got scenarios here in chapter 7. You got X marks the spot. Drakian cages. Oh god, I said it right. And then you have the abandoned watchtower, stone circles, blood totems, and the Erythrian graveyard. Oh, this is very nice. So it's nice looking piece of art. So that's 6 scenarios, 7 scenarios, swampland, 8 scenarios with Saurian breakfast. And then we have the bestiary. Bestiaries, like any other monster compendium, is good to have, and I'm glad they've added it. But you're going to have a whole bunch of different creatures for a game like this, right? And all of them are right here. They're more, warm, warm crocodiles and stuff like that. Anaconda. They're more art. Yeah, the book feels very warm, and I think it reflects on the setting, right? As opposed to Frostgrave, which is a bit more cold and stuff like that. And then you got different, the snake man. There's actually a box for the snake man that you can get from North Star as well. Then you got undead, the aquatics. So it's definitely even the bestiary sets you up for a totally different kind of game as compared to Frostgrave. And you got your crew sheets and your credits. So the artwork's by Dimitri Burmak and Kate Burmak. Very, very nice. Very, very pretty. Very, very, very pretty. Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's Frostgrave Ghost Archipelago, fantasy war game in the Lost Isles. And if you were to consider this game, I think if you're not into the whole Frostgrave setting, maybe this could be the one for you. Of course, it depends on the miniatures you've got. If you're using miniatures you have on hand, chances are a lot of the miniatures that you have will be more suitable for this. But you never know. But that shouldn't stop you. You can always use tokens. In fact, if you don't want to use miniatures, use tokens. But I recommend miniatures because, why not? The miniatures you can get from North Star, or you can kit bash to your heart's content. So that's pretty much it. That's the book. I hope you like the flip through and me mispronouncing a lot of things. If you like flip throughs like this and me looking into rulebooks, don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, don't forget to enjoy painting those figures.